Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing on today? I am super duper excited. I get to hang out with Tracy Clark. And as you guys remember, Tracy came to hang out with us with the first book in the Detective Harriet Foster thriller series, which was Hide. And of course, she got a one word title with the next book in the series, guys. It is called Fall. There you have it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll try to give you a better picture of what that cover looks like as well. But this is the second book in the series. It is called Fall. Tracy, I'm super duper excited because I have an ebook and I have it on audio as well. So, my friend, welcome back to the cafe to talk about the next book in the series as well. It is always a pleasure to have you over at the cafe. If you guys are just joining us, of course, you already know what to do. Like, tag, and share. Tell a friend to come on down to the cafe because we are talking with author Tracy Clark on today. Tracy, introduce yourself to the people, my friend.
I'm Tracy Clark. That's all you need to know. Go ahead. Look it up.
She writes amazing police procedural. Y'all know I love my suspense. I love my thrillers, all of that good stuff. And Tracy gives you the suspense. If you haven't read the first book in the Detective Harriet Foster series, it is called Hide. You can definitely, go and get a copy of that particular book. But it is written in a way that if you are just coming upon author Tracy Clark with Fall, you won't be lost or anything like that as well. Hey, Mama Tony, thank you for joining us on today as well. We have Antoinette Gates that is hanging out with us. Thank you, Antoinette, for hanging out with us on today. Hello, Veronica. Thank you for hanging out with us as well. Well, Tracy, we gonna get right on in.
All right,
okay.
Let's go.
And of course, y'all, Tracy may spill a little bit of tea. I don't know. You just have to tune in and see. Or what have you. But Tracy, first of all, tell us a little bit about what do you enjoy about writing suspense and police procedural thrillers and all of that good stuff. What does Tracy enjoy about that?
I think it's sort of creating the puzzle, because that's all crime fiction is, isn't it? I mean, you've got a dead body there, and somebody has to figure out how it got there and who put it there. So it's kind of like a puzzle that you have to work with. I don't have an outline, which is kind of a weird way of writing, but I put the body there, and then my job as the writer is to sort of figure out how it got there, why it got there, and sort of plant those seeds, those little things, those little nuggets that either the PI has to follow or the police have to follow. And so you sort of pick your way through. I do, and to sort of create a puzzle that's interesting for me, but also interesting for the reader too. So to sort of keep you engaged, keep you turning the pages, keep you wanting to know what happens next. So that's my job. And it takes a great deal of focus and stress and tension to sort of get it to the point where you have a good experience as the reader, and I sort of can be sort of satisfied that I've told a complete story. So two things are going on at the same time. I want you guys to have a good time. I want to engage myself, and I want to create a puzzle that you will find satisfying. So that's what I'm trying to do.
I love that. And Tracy, just so you know, you do a great job at it. And Veronica says she loves suspense and procedurals. Veronica, I'm with you. And guys, let me just tell you, Tracy give you some suspense. She's going to give you the procedurals, all of that stuff in Fall. And Tracy, one thing that I've noticed in your writing is, okay, this is a little bit of tea spilling. The attention is in the details, guys. Let me just tell you, Tracy do not waste words, okay? So when she is creating this atmosphere for you guys, I'm paying attention to like everything, Tracy. I mean, it could be like a little word. It could be the tone of somebody's voice. It could be when you're describing their reaction, all of this good stuff. I'm so here for it. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. And there's one part, Tracy, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, that when it was first determined about these dimes, I mean, Tracy, I literally like set up and I'm having like a conversation. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, oh, okay, really? What? I mean, that was like my reaction when I was reading and listening to it as well. Guys, if you are just joining us, I am super duper excited because we have author Tracy Clark back at the cafe with us. And guys, we're talking about her latest release of Fall. We will definitely be sharing with you how you can get your hands on a copy of this. And guys, let me just tell you, it is perfect reading for you guys to enjoy as well. We have Helen that is hanging out with us as Helen. Helen, this is a suspense for you, girl. And it got a little messy drama in there as well. I love it. I love it. I love it. And then author Sharon Blunt, it says, yes, she is very detailed as well. Now, Tracy, let's talk about the cover of Fall. And of course, guys, if you haven't seen the cover, I know it's kind of a glare on my screen, but there's actually dimes that are falling from the street, or falling from the sky, or what have you, that Tracy have. You're in the city, all of this good stuff. You got the backdrop, all of that stuff as well. Tell us about this cover and what it was like for you when you saw the final product of what your cover was going to look like for Fall.
Well, I had absolutely nothing to do with the cover. They sort of presented it, popped into my email inbox, and they had sort of worked this thing up according to the story. And I loved it. I think it's absolutely perfect for the story. It's got the dimes in there. It's got the Chicago skyline in there. It's all gloomy and dark and sort of shady. It's absolutely perfect for the book. So I am absolutely pleased with it.
I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Now, you mentioned something, you mentioned Chicago. And for me, in reading your stories, Hyde as well as Fall, it's almost like Chicago is a character in itself as well, being the backdrop for that. What is that about too, for Chicago kind of being that backdrop and being a character in itself? What is that like for Tracy to bring Chicago to life for the people?
Well, I can't almost not help it. I mean, I'm in Chicago. I live here, born here, work here, probably die here. But this is an interesting city, isn't it? I mean, when we're talking about crime fiction, and my character is a Chicago Police Department homicide detective. I mean, the city just sort of flourishes. It comes up through the sidewalk cracks. I mean, I can't write a sentence or a paragraph without this city sort of asserting itself. Crime is sort of a thing we do here. Corruption, political corruption is sort of a thing we do. And you can't write about the death of city aldermen and not talk about City Hall and the Chicago machine and how politicians sort of work against each other and how things get done that shouldn't probably get done, but get done anyway, because that's what we do in this city. So Chicago is there. It asserts itself on almost every page. I can't help it. They can't walk through the city, these characters, without sort of pinging on the neighborhoods, the people who live here, the politicians who rule it, the people who work and sort of die here. So it's everywhere. It's in everything.
Everywhere. I love that. I love that. Now, Tracy, you got to spill a little bit of tea. Okay.
All right.
What is it with these one-word titles?
I don't know. Well, you know what?
We had Hyde. Now we have Fall. Now, was this the original working title for book 2 in this series, or it just kind of evolved as the story evolved with you?
Well, the publishing house asks you for your suggestions, right? He may say, what would you say would the title of this book be? Now, I come up with these wonderful literary titles, really sort of pinging on fiction and whatever. I mean, and then they come back. Apparently, one-word titles are my thing. That's my brand, apparently. So Hyde, Fall, and the next book, Echo. I mean, so one word. Yeah. So one-word titles. I mean, that... One word, that's it. All right. So maybe eventually I'll get to a point where I can sort of maybe put a phrase in there or something. But right now, one word, that's my thing. I'm hanging with it.
Well, Tracy, just know we are so here for the one-word titles with this particular series. Now, for those who may be new to the Detective Harriet Foster thrillers or what have you, can you share with us a little bit about what inspired this particular series as a whole, and then also go into what inspired the second book, which is Fall?
I think Harriet herself inspired the series because this character sort of came to me. and she was sort of a complicated person. And I like complication. I like characters who have layers to them. I like characters who don't get things completely right. They get flaws. They've got challenges.
Mhm.
They've got hurdles they've got to get over. I like characters with stuff that they have to deal with. So it started with
Yes.
Harriet, and then I sort of put her into situations. I mean, she's a homicide cop. She works for the Chicago Police Department.
Mhm.
Go. Okay, now my job then is to sort of put a body in her path that she has to figure out what happened to it. But in the meantime, there's all this personal thing that she has to sort of go through, her new coworkers that she has to deal with. She's coming off some tragedy, so she's got those losses on her
Yes.
back. And then I give her the worst possible partner that I could possibly give her, just to sort of see, just to sort of see what she's going to do with it. So challenge upon challenge upon challenge, and then in the middle of all of this personal stuff that she's dealing with, this dead body, she has to figure out how to solve it. So, it started with her. The other characters sort of populated around her as the
Oh.
scenes went on. So it just started with her, and then my next thought was, well, what kind of partner do I give her? Okay,
Mhm.
she walks into the building. There's that guy. Then what kind of boss does she have? What can
Yes.
sort of counterbalance that? And then what kind of new partner does she get after the old guy
Yes.
just sort of gets tossed to the side? I mean, so all of these things are decisions that I have to make, and most writers
Yeah.
have to do. And you're doing it to sort of heighten conflict and tension, to rub your characters raw, and to sort of
Yes.
see what they're made of. If you give them easy stuff, you know, writer gets bored, readers get bored. Nobody's life is perfect. Nobody has smooth sailing anywhere they go, and book people have to be the same. So
Yeah.
Harriet is in there. She's got this stuff on her back. I've given her stuff that she has to deal with, and then we see
Mm.
what she is, what she's made of, how strong she is, how weak she is,
Yes.
where she's weak, where she's strong, and in the midst of all of that, 3 dead aldermen, dirty dimes stuffed on their body somewhere, and Chicago as a backdrop.
And Tracy, one of the things, and you kind of alluded to this when you were talking about the character of Harriet, but that's one of the things that I know drew me in book one, and of course I'm totally there for it in fall as well, is the realness of Harriet and all of these things that she has on her back, in addition to having to solve these cases or what
Mhm.
have you. Even like at the beginning, you kind of hit us with a headliner where, guys, this is a little bit of tea if you haven't read the first book in the series, which is Hyde. Detective Foster, her son has been murdered, or what have you. That wasn't the case that she was on in Hyde, but that's kind of like the backdrop of kind of like what she has gone on. And Tracy starts us off in fall, where she has to go to court because the killer or of her son, they perhaps they are looking at lightening his sentence by some years, or what have you. And so that's like the backdrop of where it goes. But I love how you get inside of her head or during that time, and as a real breathing human being, even though she's a homicide detective, again, she's also a real person with real feelings and stuff like that. So I really, really love that insight that you share. I also love how throughout the thing, again, like I said, guys, the attention is in the details. It's almost like I'm trying to solve the case with them. So I'm side-eyeing folks. I'm side-eyeing folks, and I'm looking at folks like, okay, that was a little weird. Are you a suspect? All of that good stuff as well. But it brings for a great story. And Helen says, "Oh my goodness, I am fangirling. I just looked this book up and realized that this is the Chicago Mysteries author. I love PI cast. I am so giddy, Helen. Oh my goodness." Tracy Clark, Helen, I need you to go and one click Hyde and also one click this one as well. They are both great reads as well. Author Sharon Blunt was saying that she loved Hyde as
Oh,
well.
thank you.
So again, guys, if you are just joining us, we are hanging out with author Tracy Clark on today. She's sharing a little bit about her latest release, A Fall. This is a Detective Harriet Foster thriller, and if you are a person that enjoy police procedural thrillers and cases and all that good stuff, this is one for you to read. Now, let's talk a little bit about your characters in Fall. Now, and you can also, if you need to allude to Hyde and any of the other books that you have written as well, what typically comes first for Tracy? Is it the characters or is it the plot? And for Fall, what was the case in this one? Of course, we knew that Detective Harriet Foster would be there, but as far as the other characters were concerned, did they come first or was this plot?
With me, it's always character. I knew early on when I started writing, first off, that characters sort of appeal to me. I love sort of getting into people's business. That's what writers do.
Ooh.
We listen, we watch people. You will see us in
Okay.
a coffee shop, sitting at a table by ourselves. We're not doing anything. We're listening to your conversation,
Like ear hustling.
to see what is going on in your life, because it might end up in
Yeah.
a character or on the page or
Yeah.
something. So for me, it's always character first. Harriet was the first thing in this series that sort of sprang out at me. And then the complication that I sort of gave her was the second thing. And then as I put her in situations, the other characters sort of came on. I needed somebody who was going to really sort of rub her the wrong way. So that's where Lonergan came in. And I made him as detestable as I could possibly make him. And I thought he had gone too far, but I sort of checked with other police officers that I kind of know. And they said, have you ever worked with anybody like that? Absolutely. I mean, really, I had not gone far enough. So
Okay.
that's sort of a realistic thing. I nailed it. Great. Those people exist in the Chicago Police Department. I can move on and sort of populate the other characters as well. So she needed a character. I needed somebody who was going to counterbalance her. Vera Lee is everything that Harriet is not. And so those two
Yes.
together are like oil and water, but they will
Yes.
coalesce at some point. They're at the point we find them in Hyde. They're worlds apart. They get a little closer in Fall. And Echo, they are like, Laverne and Shirley. I mean, they're together, a duo that you cannot break up. And so
I love it. I
that
love
sort
it.
of evolution through the books, through the series, is a wonderful thing to sort of explore too. Because how are these characters totally opposite, totally different, come from different places, they're different stages in their lives, and they have to come together like this, a really buddy knuckle. And so
Yes.
that is a challenge for me too, to sort of create what's going to be that path to sort of get them from here to here, and that will continue as the series goes on. But the characters show up as you need them. You populate them as you sort of go through the book. At the end of the book, there a little bit more about them than you did in the beginning. I don't have like character sketches like some writers do. They sort of mail everything out, and they know exactly what their characters are eating and how they dress. I don't know any of that information. It sort of populates on the page as I need them. There they are. They come dressed as they are. They come eating what they eat, and then I just sort of I go from there.
I love that. And Tracy, I also like how you paint the picture. And I talked about this a little bit earlier. Just the way that it's almost like, even though they're solving a case, their characters is going through their own personal journeys as well. And you see that throughout the book, in addition to, so like you said before, it's almost like they're solving a case, but then they're also dealing with their mess.
That's what police officers do. I mean, that's their job, but that's not their life, right? They've got family, they've got wives and husbands and children and mothers and fathers, things that they have to deal with outside of that shift or whatever that shift is. So you get both of it. You get the professional part of it, and then the challenges of the personal, because that's what people are. That's what people do, and book people have to be the same. So
exactly. And I like how you've given Harriet like a vice, like something that when she kind of needs a calming or what have you, like she reaches in her pocket, and what does she find? There's usually like paper, like in Hyde, like she had things in there that she could kind of like count, and in this one she has like the paper clips or what have you. Tell us a little bit about that, of giving her that side of, even though it's something so minor, but for her it's like a comment, it's a vice, it's something that sometimes she needs that, or what have you. Tell us a little bit about that in creating her character.
Well, that sort of presented itself on the page too, because I've given Harriet this sort of thing that she has to deal with. And she's sort of living a half life, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's brilliant on the job. She knows how to do it. She's been doing it for 15, 16 years. She's a homicide detective. That's what she knows. When she goes home, she's a different person. She's living in a house that has little furniture in it. She doesn't care what she eats. You open her
Right.
refrigerator, she's got what, an apple and a banana. I mean, see, she's not living a full life. And
Right.
so she needed something. I needed something as a writer to sort of get her minute to minute. And
Wow.
what she needs at the end of the day is to sort of put that marble that she has in her house in that
Yep.
vase that marks the
Yep.
day. All right. But
That
as
marks
she's
the
going through
day.
the day, there are those little stresses and tensions that she has to sort of get over. And so she will slip a paper clip or a little whatever into her pocket, that little
Yeah.
tangible thing that gets her through that second. So she's living, for whatever reason, I haven't quite figured out what's holding her back, because I
Right.
don't know everything about her at this point. But she needs something that's going to get her moving forward. And
Yes.
if it's a paperclip or a thumbtack or whatever it takes, just
Whatever.
that tangible thing in her pocket that says you've gotten through this moment, you can get to the next one, you can get to the next one. And so I think it was sort of a indicative of who she is at that point, and at least in book two. There's less of that in book three, because then we've got Vera Lee there pulling her out of the hole that she's in. And
Yes.
so she's
Yes.
getting better. In terms of character arcs, you want characters that change and
Yeah.
move, whether those moves are big or small. But she's got to change from book to book. Lee is there to help her. She's
Yes.
doing her part. And then she has this internal puzzle that she has to solve. It's not only the
Yes.
one that she's working, but also what happened to her last partner, because that's an open question from book
Right.
one.
Yep.
We learned a little bit about that in book two, and we'll see what happens in book three. I'm just finishing that one up. I have another week before I have to turn that one in. And,
Wow.
so Harriet is moving along slowly, turtle's pace, but she's moving. So that's all we can hope for.
I love it. And guys, if you haven't caught on, she is spilling the tea. She's told you that book three is called Echo as well. So I'm super duper excited about that. If you are just joining us, we are hanging out with Tracy Clark on today, guys. She is the amazing author of the Detective Harriet Foster thrillers. We're talking about the latest release. It is fall. It is hot off the press. We will definitely be sharing with you how you can get your hands on a copy of it. It's available in ebook, print, and audiobook for the audiobook lovers out there as well. Now, of course, if you have a question or a comment for author Tracy Clark, put it in the comment section as well. We'll be sure to include you in this discussion on today. Now, Tracy, you talked a little bit about her partner, Detective Lee. How can you describe, or how would you describe Detective Lee for us? And like you said, they are night and day. They are opposite guys, Detective Harriet Foster and her partner, Detective Lee. But let me tell you, it is some show enough girl power going on with these two as well, having them on the case. But what can you tell us about Detective Lee?
Well, Detective Lee is very perceptive. I think in the first book, she sees Harriet sort of come into the squad room, and
Mm-hmm.
she knows that she's been partnered with Lonergan, and she knows that this is not going to work. But she sees her. She sees her right off the bat.
Uh-huh.
And I think she's sort of taken it upon herself to sort of draw her out and to bring her back for whatever reason. Now, whether or not it's because they are both female in a male dominated squad room,
Uh-huh.
or whether they are both mothers or sort of experienced that at some level. But she
Uh-huh.
sort of sees Harriet. She sees what she needs. Harriet doesn't see what she needs, but Lee sort of sees it. And
Mm-hmm.
she has made it her business to sort of get this person back to where she needs to be. So I
Right.
kind of like Lee. Everybody else is doing their own thing. Lee's doing her little thing too, but she's there. She knows what she has to do, and she's going to stick with it until something happens, and she's going to be there. And so I kind of like that. I kind of like learning about her even more.
Mm-hmm.
In book three, she really sort of blooms, and so does Harriet to a certain extent. But the partnership is important. I like it. I like the dynamic. I like the conflict, even
Mm-hmm.
though they are on the same page. They're all doing the same thing. There's this little needly thing that is interesting to sort of explore. So I'm kind of interesting to see how they sort of get to book what happens to them in book 4. But book 3,
Wow.
they're on it.
Ooh, okay, okay. And guys, she's telling us, so you already know there's gonna be a book 4. Tracy, I'm loving you dropping the tea. I'm loving you dropping these little bit of tea nuggets. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, there is guys, in the second book in the series, Fall, there are some questionable, shady politicians that kind of have like this little group going on. Okay, that's we gonna paint the picture for you. And there's this other politician that kind of gets caught up, that she had to do a bid in prison or what have you. She had to do 3 years and she gets out. So we just gonna drop that little bit of tea for you. Her name is, now Tracy, I'm saying Marin. Is it Marin?
Yep.
How do you pronounce it? Okay.
Marin's good. Yep.
Okay, good. So Marin Shaw, what can you tell us about Marin Shaw's character? And let me just tell you, Tracy, there are some moments, where Marion kind of pull at my heartstrings a little bit. But anyway, okay, what can you tell us about Marin Shaw?
Well, Marin Shaw is a sort of a, I guess, cool politician who went to prison for corruption. We're talking about Chicago now. We have 50 aldermen in the city council. That's 50 wards that they sort of hold sway over. Dirty deals are not uncommon. But anyway, Marin Shaw gets sort of hooked up into this corruption thing, this fraud. And she's not in it by herself, but she's the only one left holding the bag. Right. And so she is gone to the penitentiary to do her time. She's
going down for the people, guys. She take. Now, Tracy, that is totally taking one for the team, okay?
Well, yeah, that's kind of how it's done here.
And I don't know if they were such a team because, right. I don't know if they was really, they were shady, guys. They were shady. Go ahead, Tracy.
Yeah, and so she is the one who gets it. So she goes all the way for a few years. She's leaving behind a husband and a little kid. I mean, her daughter. And so when she's coming out, she's got a big mess to clean up, right? I mean, she's got some work to do. And on top of all of that, the people that she left behind, the ones she was in it with, are now worried folks, because here comes Marin with all the secrets, and they're still out there doing the hustle, and they're worried about whether or not she's going to keep her mouth shut or whether or not she's going to ruin everybody. Right. And so now they're worried. And so now we have to think whether or not she's going to take revenge or get her life together. I like that duplicity in terms of characters and what they're going to do. And I don't want to give it away, but she makes a choice.
Right.
But the killer is out there. And under the mask of this, so people know she went to prison, she wasn't in it alone. But now the killer, the person, is killing the people. I mean, her cohorts, her corrupt little politicians. Right. And now who's going to be suspect number one? Of course she is. Right. So now we have a game. Now we've got a game going on. So was it Marin? Was it not Marin? Was it somebody else who had something against these aldermen who were killed with this weird 30 dimes on their bodies? That's the puzzle. And so Marin is there. She's got a major cleanup to do. She's got a family to reclaim. She doesn't want the husband so much, but she wants her kid. She wants to make up for what the damage that she has done. So that's the challenge. That's the churn. That's the itchy parts of character. I kind of love all of it. And I hope the readers do too. I like the itchiness with characters.
Look, Tracy, all I'm going to say is the plot thickens. Guys, let me just tell you, there's some dimes involved. There's this serial killer out there. It's a whodunit, all this good stuff. Let me just tell you, you will be on the edge of your seats when you read A Fall. And yes, we will be sharing with you how you can get your hands on a copy of this story as well. Now, of course, I know y'all are ready. Tracy's going to share a little snippet with us. Tracy, I'm going to allow you to set the scene, my friend, and give us a little snippet of Fall.
All right. This is chapter 2, I think. This is the discovery of the first body. The body is found in a garage. It's February. It's Chicago. It's cold. It's slushy. Inhospitable. But here's this car that shouldn't be there.
But Tracy, and they was like, I remember one guy, he was like, "Man, this is a horrible place to die."
Place to die. Absolutely. So this is the discovery of the first alderman. Okay, here we go. Philo Benson rode up in the elevator to level 6 of the garage at 6 o'clock Wednesday morning, tired of his life and his lot in it. He was 38, still rudderless, working at a garage, changing light bulbs, sweeping up trash, mopping the floors, killing his soul. He watched as the numbers changed, level 3, 4, the car rising, lumbering up on tired cables and groaning gears. 6 a.m. was an ungodly hour as far as he was concerned, but what did it matter? He had nothing else going. He had to make a change. It didn't do If he didn't do it now, when would he do it? He couldn't let another day go by working here, or else he'd slit his own throat. The doors opened, and Philo grabbed the stepladder he'd brought up with him, then the long fluorescent bulb he'd propped against the car's wall. Easy job. Shouldn't take long. As he stepped out, the blinking bulb overhead pointed the way. He sneered up at the sputtering light, then sighed, ready to get on with it. That's when he noticed a car parked 30 feet away, a red Mercedes. But it wasn't the make that was the oddity, it was the time. It was too early for the usual office crowd, he thought, even for those nutcase lawyers and high finance freaks who work nonstop, fueled by adrenaline and caffeine, thinking sweat equity would win the boss's attention and favor, only to drop dead of coronaries at 40. Had the guard been here overnight? He peered through the glass that separated the bays from the garage proper. Philo could see exhaust blowing out of the tailpipe. That shit's running, fucking idiots. He debated going out, giving the freak an earful, but the bulb was his business, not the car. They didn't pay him enough to get caught up in other people's drama. Then Philo thought medical emergency. He heard about those all the time. Some old guy had a heart attack flying a plane, or the driver of a CTA bus suddenly slumped over at the wheel. Philo grabbed his walkie and called down to the office. Yeah, Tate, we got a car up here on 6, engine running. Somebody might want to get up here and check it out. Static roared back, and then, aren't you up there? Philo's eyes narrowed into angry slits. Tate was a lazy person. He was just fine being manager, with all the perks that came with it, as long as he didn't have to work too hard. Aren't you the manager, Tate? God, Philo hated his life. Check the car out, Philo. Probably some drunk sleeping off one of them office parties. It's February, Tate. Whatever. If it's anything serious, call back. Tate broke the connection. He likely had a cruller he needed to get back to, Philo thought. Philo left the ladder and the bulb and pushed through the glass doors, his eyes on the idling car. He could smell the gas already. Halfway there, Philo could see there was someone inside, slumped back in the driver's seat. Yep, heart attack. At the car, he saw the streaks of red on the driver's side door and knew instantly what it was. Peering inside, he saw a woman slumped in the seat, a bullet hole in her head, her right arm flung out beside her with a gun nestled in it. He sighed, stepped back, then calmly scanned the empty parking spots. It was just him and the Mercedes. Philo wasn't afraid of death. He'd seen too much of it in Afghanistan for it ever to shock him. He didn't even have enough left to feel sympathy for the dead woman. All that emotion, that feeling, had been burned away years ago. It's why he worked here in the garage, where it was quiet, usually. Where the only challenge to that quiet was the bone-headed Tate. He pushed the button on the walkie. Tate, put the crawler down and call the police. We got a dead woman up here.
Guys, there you have it. And let me just tell you, Tracy don't waste no time because that's chapter 2. Okay, so you got a red Mercedes is still on. There's a lady inside with a gunshot wound to the head. There's a gun in her hand, but all I'm gonna say is the plot thickens. Okay, and that's body 1. All right, that is body 1. Helen said that of course she got her first 2 reads of 2024 as well. She couldn't believe that she didn't know that this is the new series because she enjoys Chicago mysteries so much. I love that. I love that, Helen. You are in for a treat. Again, guys, the first book in the Harriet Foster series is Hide, and the second book we're talking about today is Fall as well. Hey, Paulette, us on today. Look, author Sharon Blunt said, child, Yes, Sharon, she starts us off. She starts us off as well. Okay, so Tracy Clark, of course, my friend, you know that we have to play a round of this or that, my friend, and we're gonna play this or that New Year's Eve edition.
Ooh, all right.
Okay, I
All
love
right.
it. I love it. I love it. And Dahlia, I wanted to let you know, she said that she's going to check out your books as well, and she loves the genre. I love
Thank
that. I
you.
love that. I
Thank
love it.
you.
All right, Tracy, are you ready, my friend?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. First up, New Year's Eve. Are you staying in? Are you going out?
I'm
Staying in
staying
or
in.
going
I'm
out?
I'm staying in. Going out is a young person's game. I
Okay.
mean, I'm old. Okay, I'm gonna stay in and watch the ball drop on television in my jammies with a bowl of popcorn. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. I love it. Now, Tracy, with your staying in,
Hmm.
do you make it to 12 or you may go sleep a little early?
I go to sleep a little early. I mean, what's midnight? We've seen it.
I love it. I love it. Are you for the fireworks or the sparkles? Fireworks or sparkles?
Neither one. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Again, that's a young person's game. When you sort of get past 40, it's lost its spark.
I love it. I love it. Okay. And of course, we know you're staying at home. So is it going to be dress up or casual and comfy? I'm thinking you're going to say casual and comfy, but
Come on. First of all, it's going to be 8:30. I'm going to be in my pajamas with my little footies on. I mean, that's it. It's the lights out. Okay?
I love that. I love that. Now, Tracy, outside of New Year's Eve, we're going to throw in a little of this or that for those as well. Is
Mhm.
Tracy going on a road trip or is Tracy taking a plane ride? Road trip or plane ride, my friend?
Plane ride. It's got to be quick. It's got to be easy. I'm not driving anywhere. I mean, how far are we going in the road trip? I mean, is it across country or is it like the next state? I can do Wisconsin. I can do Indiana. I'm not doing California. So if it's a far road trip, plane. If
I
we're going
love it.
to
I love
Wisconsin
it.
Dells, I can go to Wisconsin Dells in the car. I mean, it's like 2 or 3 hours, and it's fine.
Yes.
Okay. Anything more than that, Delta, American, United, Southwest,
I
get
love
me a
it.
ticket.
Now, Tracy, for
Yep.
you, are you a night owl or morning person? Night owl or morning person?
Morning. Okay, I'm up every morning at 5:30. That's my writing time. I
Okay.
was up Christmas Day 5:30, Christmas Eve 5 every day 5:30. I am at my writing desk working on something. So book 3 in this series is due to the publisher on the 8th of January,
Uh
and
huh.
so I will be up until at 5:30 until the 8th of January. I'll probably take the 9th of January off, and then I will start again on the 4th book, 5:30 in the morning. Blank page. Let's go. That's the job. Let's hit it.
I love it. And thank you so much for bringing us the Detective Harriet Foster series. And it seemed like they're going to be coming out quick, guys, because, of course, with 2023, she had Hide and then she had Fall. She's already spilled the tea and told us that we know that there's going to be a third book, Echo, and we know that this is going to be a book 4 as well. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Tracy, and thank you so much for hanging out with us today and talking about your new series, the Detective Harriet Foster series, talking about Fall as well. And of course, guys, there is a giveaway. I'm going to let Tracy Clark share with us what her giveaway is going to be on today.
Well, you're going to get a copy of Fall, signed by me, and I might throw in a trinket or two. I've got handcuffed keychains and stuff like that, all police related. So yeah, give it a whirl.
I love it, guys. There you have it. You get an autographed copy of Fall and some goodies to go with that as well. Tracy, I'm going to get you to help me out, my friend. I'm going to go up and down the comment section, and you, my friend, is going to tell me when to stop, and that person will be the winner as well. Okay, I am ready when you are.
Close my eyes and stop.
Okay. Well, Helen, it is your day today, my
All
friend. You
right.
are the winner of a copy of a Prince copy, autograph that is of Fall. And this particular book, you're going to get some book goodies that she's going to put in there as well. I love it. Thank you so much for joining us. And they are giving you love. Tony Bonita, which is Mama Tony's Book Nook. She says she just downloaded book 1 and 2 and
Thank you, Tony.
pre-ordered book 3. That's what I'm talking about. I love that. I love it. Thank you so much, Mama Tony, as well. Tracy, it has been amazing again
It's always
hanging
fun.
out
Yeah.
with you. on today, spilling a little bit of tea as well. Again, thank you for bringing us this amazing series. Guys, I promise you will be on the edge of your seat. You will definitely be trying to solve the murder solve the cases with Detective Harriet Foster and her partner, Detective Lee, as well. And so, Tracy, I want to allow you, my friend, to have the last words of what you want to say to the people. And before you do that, can you just tell us what did you enjoy about bringing us fall?
Well, I think the most fun that I have with these books is putting African American females on the page. I'm a longtime mystery writer. I mean, reader. I've read all these Agatha Christie's and all the books, and I always wanted to sort of put me on the page. And Harriet is me on the page. It's you on the page. It's our cousins on the page. We have this strong African American female working in a department that was not set up for her, and still she has to sort of deal with all of the things that we have to deal with in modern day society, and that's the challenge. So we've put this character here that looks like me, talks like me, comes from where I come from, and then here she is, and she, just like all of the rest of us, we've got to find a way to sort of live. So that's the most important thing for me. That's the most enjoyment that I get out of these characters in these series. Even the first one, Cass, was me again on the page. But yeah, I love that about it. It's challenging for me to put those lives on the page and make them credible and realistic. And so that's it for me. That's the jam. And then the dead bodies come and the cases come, but the characters are the central thing. And that's what keeps my interest. And I hope it keeps readers' interest too.
I love that. I love that. And I definitely want you to answer. Antoinette had a great question. She wanted to know, what do you require in your writing crave to create your novels? So do you have a writing quirk or things, must-haves when you are bringing us these amazing stories? Look, at 5:30 a.m.
Well, 5:30, I start with a big tall glass of V8, lots of ice, and that's my starting point. I also, you can see behind me that big tub of Twizzlers. That's my thinking food.
Okay.
Twizzlers along like this. So when I get sort of stuck, and I get stuck often, I will pull a Twizzler out and I will start nibbling on it. And
Oh,
by the
okay.
time I get to the end, I have either fixed my problem or figured out a way to get out of the corner that I painted myself in. But it's a wonderful thinking food snack. And so I have to keep it on hand all the time. There it is. It's probably half full at this point because I'm almost done with my revisions. And then when that goes empty, I will buy another one and start all over again. But that's my thinking food, the V8, the Twizzlers, and then whatever else I can, depending on how deep I am in the hole, whatever I can find. So, but those two things have to be essential in order for me to
I
think.
love that. Thank you, Antoinette. That was a great question. So we got
Absolutely. Good.
her 5:30 a.m., her VA, and her Twizzlers. I love that. I love that. Well, Tracy Clark, it has been amazing hanging out with you. And as I said, thank you so much for hanging out with us on today to talk about your latest release, Fall. And of course, guys, she's going to tell us how you can get your hands on a copy of this amazing story. Tracy?
Well, I always sort of advocate for your independent bookstore. If you've got one in your town, go there, patronize them. It's also available anywhere books are sold, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, whatever. But yeah, also your library. Go to your local library; it should be there. If it's not, ask the librarian to sort of buy it. So find it anywhere.
I love that. There you have it, guys. It's available where books are sold. Definitely, you can go to your indie bookstore. You can get it from there. You can go to your library. You can go to Amazon, all of that good stuff, and get you a copy. And as we said, it is available in ebook, it's available in audio, and it's available in print as well. And Tracy, of course, please share with us, my friend, how can we stay connected with you?
Well, I'm on Facebook and X. X, I'm getting used to that. Instagram. So just look me up. Type my name in. My face will pop up. Send me a message. Let me know how you like the book if you choose to read it. I like the feedback. So I love hearing from readers. Let me know. And I might just sort of take your suggestions if you got something good. It'll be in the next book.
I love that. I love that. So, guys, make sure you are following her on social media as well. And Tracy, is there a website and a newsletter that they can sign up for as well?
Well, my website is Tracy Clark Books. There's a little contact form there for my newsletter and to send me a message. And so just let me know.
I love that, guys. There you have it. Definitely go to her website. Check her out there. Sign up for her newsletter. All of that good stuff as well. Guys, be on the edge of your seat. As Mama Tony had said as well, you can pre-order Echo, which is the third book in the series. If you haven't already, definitely get you a copy of A Fall. Don't forget about Hide, which is the first book as well. And check out her backlist, any of the other books that she's read. And of course, guys, make sure you leave a review. I know that author Tracy Clark would be so appreciative of that. And don't forget to tell a friend to tell a friend. Also, if you see it out in the wild, take a picture, all of that good stuff as well. I love it. Again, Tracy, thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with us on today to talk about your latest release, Fall. It has been amazing hanging out with you guys on today. And you guys know what we're going to say next. Have an amazing day, because we're having an amazing day. And until next time, we'll see you guys later. Talk to you later. Bye-bye. And go get a copy of Fall.